So Louie's going to start off with a circle. Now, I'm going to give myself just a few marks here, just going to go outside the page. But you're going to want to make this circle. Just go ahead and just right in the middle of your paper, and make it like the size of an apple or an orange. If you're feeling really, really inspired, you can make it like a grapefruit. But you'll notice when I'm drawing my circles, I'm drawing as many circles as I need. I'm just trying to draw just one. And I'm also keeping everything very light. As some of my friends like to say, this is the one place in the park where you're encouraged to be sketchy. But now that we have our circle in place, we're going to go ahead and give him some construction lines. Now our first line is going to cut our circle right in half, right down the middle. And then we're doing one more line, about a third of the way from the bottom. And you will now have Kylo Ren's lightsaber and a potato. But from here, we're going to go ahead and give Louie his first feature, which is going to be his bill. Now his bill is going to be a pair of letter U's that are connected. And it's going to start a little above our center line here and come to either side. Keep everything pretty light right now. Now that we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and start to give him the rest of his smile. We're just going to work on gently making this upper lip right now. It's going to be a line coming down this way and coming across, so we're just at the bottom point of that arch on the left. And then just take this line up at an angle. Now to make his lower V, we're just going to cut the side here with a rounded little rainbow. Bring this line down, and we're going to turn this into a bowl underneath, coming to the midpoint of the other arch. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and start to lock this shape into place. You'll notice as I'm saying locking in, I'm pressing down a little harder on my pencil, and I'm really defining the lines that I want to keep. Now this will also make these lines not just easier to find and make sure we're only following the ones we want to follow, but as we lock these in, it's going to make our construction lines begin to fade into the background. Now, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were all introduced in the comics originally, and they were introduced more as like tricksters. They like to play a lot of tricks on their Uncle Donald. Later on, though, they got introduced to a kind of a cult classic show. Only a few people have heard of it. I heard somebody make the sound. That's right, DuckTales. There we go. So now we're going to start to make Louie's lower jaw. Now to make this, start off by making a set of lines. We're pulling lightly down from either side. Bless you. And we're going to curve a lower line just underneath. You've got kind of like a Funko Pop style head. Now these lines, we are actually good to lock in right away. And we're going to not lock in the top of his head though. We're going to keep that a little light for just a little while. You'll see why in just a bit. But from here, we're also going to give him his neck. Now his neck's super, super easy to draw. It's just going to be two lines coming down from either side of that center line, tilting them in just a little ways. Now, believe it or not, we kind of just reached our halfway point for Louie, so I want to do a quick check-in with everybody. How well did about our drawing so far? You are all stunned into silence by how well you're doing. Fantastic. Let me ask a different question. Are we having fun?
Yes.
That's the most important part to be having with this. You always want to make sure you're having fun with your work. So, I did mention that there is a way to tell the difference between the three brothers, and it's actually within their names. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, all obviously, especially in the original DuckTales, they all were completely identical. New DuckTales, they gave them all a little bit more of a difference, so you can kind of see who we're looking at. But even Uncle Scrooge kind of refers to them as like the red one, the green one, and the blue one. So here's the trick. Huey, as in the red hue, is the red one. Dewey, like water, is the blue one. Then you have Louie.
He's left over.
Some of my friends are still think leafy green with L. So if you ever have a question about that, and if you remember it later, you will win Disney Trivia Night. That being said, you guys ready to keep going? All right, keep going then. So the next step for Louie is going to be his eyes. Now his eyes are going to be very, very large ovals, and they're going to take up the majority of space left on our upper circle, and they're going to be right above those little recesses on his bill. Keep these light. You want to make sure they're roughly about the same height from here. So looking for a distance, I made them a little too high. About like 2/3 of the way to 3/4 of the way up to the top of our circle. Once you're pretty happy with these, go ahead and start locking them in. Now, we obviously have fans of DuckTales in here. Does anyone remember what organization these three are a part of?
Junior Woodchucks.
Junior Woodchucks, that's right. And who's their scout leader?
Launchpad.
Launchpad, yeah. See, I'm right. Everyone in this class will be very well set for DuckTales trivia night the next time I host that.
If there's a question about DuckTales.
Once we have his eyes locked in place, though, we have a duck that looks like he just got off the line abandoned. So we're going to go ahead and do a process called waking up the character. So in the newest DuckTales, they gave them a bit more stylized eyes than what you might be used to, where they're going to be pupils, but they're going to have a little pie slice taken out of them. So for these pupils, I'm going to have him look out at all of us and keep these light for right now because we want to make sure we get that tie in place before we lock them in. A little bigger here. Now the pie slice is real easy, but it's actually not a straight line, it's actually a curve. So we're going to just do a little curved line on either side here, and then just another curved one straight above it. Once you have those in place, feel free to lock in the outside of your eyes here, and then shade them in. When you shade these in, make these the darkest point of your drawing. Just like when you lock in your lines and those become the central focus for the line itself, when you make the eyes the darkest point, it really draws the audience's attention to the character's eyes. We use the eyes for a lot of different things in animation. Specifically though, to show characters' emotions, even if they're not necessarily being honest with that with other ways of communication. Now, as you lock in the eyes as well, this is a step I missed myself, so we just do it here, it's very easy to fix. You're going to build up their upper eye, what's called an eye line. Now this is kind of like giving them a built-in eyelid, and we do this in animation to really help show a character's upper and lower lids a little different. And especially in 3D animation, this is a really important step because you see them blinking without this, it starts to break that uncanny valley area. But now we do want to give him his eyebrows. These are going to be a pair of curved lines on that upper curve of our circle and right above their eyes as well. But this is where we start to differentiate between the three brothers, is with in their accessories, or in Louie's case, his hair. Now the first part for his hair that we're going to do is going to be a big sweeping line. I'm going to tuck all the way down this way. We're going to use this just like a guide point, because he's got 3 separate feathers in it, kind of like a comb over. So the first one here, and it's okay if you go over your the eyebrows, because they do this in the show as well. First line's coming through here. Second line's going to be sweeping out towards this side. And then we're going to take this into a straight line coming across and make a little shark fin. Now from here, we're just going to go ahead and follow this line coming up and flip it just a little ways to make that curved line at the top. But now you are free to lock in the whole outside of his head. Just find your favorite line from the outside. And we'll be coming now to our last step for Louie, which is the hoodie that he wears. So all of the different brothers now have a different look to them. Huey actually wears the outfit closest to their original design with the ball cap. But Louie has a hoodie that he has. So the hoodie's a real easy shape to make. You're going to make a curved rainbow very lightly behind his neck here. And then add just 2 lines tilting down to either side. And then from here we can block in the outer lines from this side as well. Now, does anyone have any favorite parts of DuckTales with these guys? Because for me, it was pretty much the original one where they're getting dropped off by Donald, and they really, really don't want to stay with their Uncle Scrooge. Does anyone remember what that reasoning was in the original DuckTales? Give me a hint. It has to do with the fact that Scrooge hates spending any money. Yeah. They actually complained because they're like, but he's cheap. Now, does anyone know what their mother's name is?
Della.
Della, yeah, Della. She is Donald's twin sister. And the reason you don't see her too much is she's actually an astronaut. So that's why Uncle Scrooge and Uncle Donald take care of the boys so often, because she is quite literally often out of this world. The last step we're going to do for Louie here is just a little extra tone for his hoodie at the bottom. Just going to use the side of your pencil and we're just going to lightly shade this in. Now at this point, you can add any extra credit you might want to. If you want to add in his brothers, feel free. Maybe you want to add in Uncle Scrooge. Maybe you just want to have some of like the treasures that they find on their adventures. Anything you want to do is totally up to you. But the most important step is now to find a spot on your page, and you're going to sign your name. Now, each and every one of you have drawn the green one, Louie.